What are elections? By Nancy Harris. What are elections? Elections are days when citizens can vote to choose leaders in the government. Citizens elect leaders in the federal government. They also elect leaders in their state and local governments. Citizens choose a person for each leadership position from a list. The list is called a ballot. It has the names of all the people who are running for each position. The candidates who get to the most votes win. Who can vote? There are laws that say who can vote in the United States. You must be 18 years old or older to vote. You must also be a citizen of the United States. You must live in a state for a certain period of time to vote in that state. These men have just become American citizens. People must register or sign up to vote before an election. They can do so at a voter registration office in their city. They can also register by filling out a form and sending it in the mail. Booths are set up in neighborhoods to make it easier to register to vote. Where do you vote? Places are set up where people can vote. These are called polling places. They are usually set up in public buildings and in neighborhoods. Each polling place has election inspectors. They check to see if each person has registered to vote. Once they find a person's name on the list, they ask that person to sign in. He or she can then vote. How do you vote? After a person has signed in, he or she is taken to a booth to vote. Then the person looks over the ballot carefully. Voting booths are divided so that people can make their choice in private. The ballot has the list of all the people running for different leadership positions. People vote for one person for each leadership position. People do not put their name on the ballot. Their vote is kept secret. The votes are counted at the end of the day. The votes are made public that evening. The winners are announced on the radio, television, internet, and in the newspaper. The winners will become the new leaders. National elections. National elections are elections for leaders in the federal government. These leaders make decisions for the whole country. National elections are held on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. National elections include voting for president, vice president, senators, and representatives. Voting for president and vice president. Every 4 years, people vote for president and vice president of the United States. Presidential candidates choose the person they want to be vice president. The person and vice president are elected as a pair. This ballot lists the candidates for president and vice president in 2004. People can vote only for one pair of candidates. The winners will be the new leaders of the country. Who can run for president? There are rules that say who can run for president. The rules are: you must be born in the United States, you must be at least 35 years old, and you must have lived in the United States for at least 14 years. Who can run for vice president? There are rules that say who can run for vice president. These rules are the same as the rules for the president. The president and vice president can be elected twice. They can serve a total of 8 years together. Voting for a senator. Citizens vote for members of Congress. Congress is where laws or rules are made. A senator works in the part of Congress called the Senate. Each state has 2 senators. People in each state vote for their own senators. They can go to a polling place to vote. Who can run for senator? There are rules that tell who can run for a senator. The rules are: you must be at least 30 years old, you must be a United States citizen for 9 years before your election, and you must live in the state you are representing during the time of the election. A senator serves or works for 6 years and then can be elected again. There is no limit to how many times a senator can be elected. Voting for a representative. Representatives also work in Congress, the part of the government that makes laws. They work in the House of Representatives. Each state has at least one representative. People vote only for their state's representatives. They can go to a polling place to vote. Who can run for representative? There are rules that tell who can run for representative. The rules are: you must be at least 25 years old, You must be a United States citizen for 7 years before your election, and you must live in the state you are representing during the time of the election. Why is voting important? Elections are an important part of our country. They mean that citizens get to choose their leaders. This is what makes our government a democracy. In a democracy, all citizens are represented in a government.